A portion of today's video is sponsored by Sheath underwear. For more information on Sheath, click the link below in the description or wait until the end of this video. Very quickly, before I get started today, I'm talking about this very thing. I'm making this ask. Please subscribe. If you watch my content with any regularity whatsoever, please subscribe. Something suspicious is happening with YouTube. I don't know if it's algorithmic. I don't know if it's a loss of audience interest in the things that I talk about. I don't think it's that, but maybe that's just my arrogance. I don't know. But please subscribe, and over the course of the next couple of days, please watch as many of my videos as you can. I need to get myself back into the algorithm or the good graces of YouTube, and you can be a help with that. Now, let's talk about what took place with Kristi Noem yesterday. Her just public display of ignorance about things she should know about, being the Homeland Security Director, someone with purview over a massive swath of law enforcement, up to and including the Secret Service of the United States. You know, in any other administration, outing oneself as this ignorant and feckless would be a career ender. You'd be asked to resign, forced to resign. But in the Donald Trump administration, in this age we live in with the Republican Party, this moment of her embarrassment and humiliation, which is what it was, will be heralded as a celebratory event. She owned the libs by being about as stupid as anybody's ever been in a high position, as a former congresswoman, as a former governor of a state, as now the current Homeland Security Secretary, when asked to define habeas corpus, the same habeas corpus that Donald Trump is now attempting to, or considering, doing away with. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I did a video about this the other day when Stephen Miller announced that they were looking into suspending habeas corpus. I'll put a screenshot here. You can go look for that video and find the full nature of what it is. But I do want to just give you very briefly a definition to jog your memory, right? So it is the right of a prisoner or detainee to obtain a writ of habeas corpus as a protection against legal imprisonment. And the historical background, if that was from Merriam-Webster, this is from Cornell Law. This is what they have to say about it. Habeas corpus had initially originated as an instrument in opposition to the king's divine right to incarcerate people. So has nothing to do with the right of the leader, of the right of the king, of the right of, in this case, the president of the United States. It absolutely is your right, my right, to not be held without a hearing, without proof. I believe habeas corpus means show me the body, and it is the literal translation of the word. So you have to show the body to the court. Show me this person. Prove to me the crime that they committed. There needs to be due process. And that's what habeas corpus is. Your right to due process, public due process. And when asked about this, someone who has sworn an oath to the very Constitution that guarantees us this due process, she fumbled like you've never seen a fumble before. Not only did she not try to just give an answer that was adjacent or obfuscate and give an answer that, like, you know, when you're writing an F, but you don't know if it's T or F when you're a kid, and so you make a weird letter that could be both. She didn't even do that. She just flatly gave an insanely incorrect answer. Here's Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire, the live free or die state, asking these questions and outing the Secretary of Homeland Security as an idiot.
Secretary Noem, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff recently said that the Trump administration is actively looking at suspending habeas corpus. Last week you were asked about this, and I want to clarify your position because it's obviously really important to get this right. So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas
right
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President
habeas
Lincoln
corpus,
used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason. Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea. As a senator from the live free or die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all Americans. So Secretary Noem, do you support the core protection that habeas corpus provides, that the government must provide a public reason in order to detain and imprison someone?
Yeah, I support habeas corpus. I also recognize that the President of the United States has the authority under the Constitution to decide if it should be suspended or not.
It has never
Let us be clear, though, that this president...
It has never been done without approval of Congress.
Habeas corpus, she says, is the right of Donald Trump to deport people? What? When I heard this, we were listening to Brittany Page and I were in the car driving, listening to this live. I was in between, unable to breathe because of laughing and being shocked and afraid of the place we live in, the time in which we live right now. Again, in any other administration, we've had some doozies. She would be let go immediately because she's in charge of ICE, of Border Patrol, of Secret Service, of a massive law enforcement agency. And if the top of the organization doesn't understand what habeas corpus is, that just trickles down. It's one of the instances where trickle down actually works, not in economics, but certainly in law enforcement. It's rotten from the head. The hearing continued, and in this case, this will be a critique for Maggie Hassan, because at the end of it, she credits Kristi Noem with something she did not do. Oh, I'm glad you agree with me, when she did not agree. Asking about, listen, if Donald Trump decides to suspend habeas corpus and he is overturned by a federal court, will you follow the federal court's ruling? Again, this should be an easy answer. Easy. Yes, of course we will follow the law. Of course we will follow the ruling of a federal court, of the Supreme Court. Now, we know that's not the case, that she can't say that because they are already not following federal court orders. They're already defying the United States Supreme Court. We are in a full-fledged constitutional crisis, and all of these people in power act like everything's fine. Watch this moment.
So I have been asking executive branch nominees a simple question over the past few months. If the president orders them to break the law, I've been asking, will you follow the law or follow the order? I want to ask you a more specific question here. If the president tries to suspend habeas corpus and a federal court reverses the president's order, will you comply with the court order and uphold habeas corpus, or will you follow the president's directive?
We are following all federal court orders and are complying with that, as is the president, and every decision that I make as well.
That is obviously not true for anybody who reads the news. There are federal court orders right now, including returning somebody who was deported mistakenly. But to be clear, this is about a fundamental legal right that ensures that we live in a free society instead of a police state that would have a sham legal system like Russia or North Korea. So I'm glad that you have now committed to following court orders. I'm glad you believe in the basic freedom for Americans if ordered to do so by a court.
She didn't agree. She didn't agree. What do you mean you're glad she agreed? This is one of the most frustrating things to witness as a citizen of this country, as a Democrat, watching our leaders, our Democratic leaders, act like this. Why are you acting as though she agreed, Maggie Hassan? She did nothing of the sort. What she did was not even adjacent to agreeing that she would follow the orders of Supreme Court or federal courts. She did not do that. And at this point, really, I wouldn't even know that she would know what it means to follow a federal court order. She doesn't know the basics of American jurisprudence. She doesn't know the basics that go back to the 1200s and the writing of the Magna Carta. Habeas corpus goes back to like King John, King James, way, way back. She didn't know how many times it had been suspended. She knows nothing about it. Maybe if Christy Noem spent less time playing cosplay like a dress-up special agent in her urban assault gear, maybe she could brush up on the Constitution. She could brush up on what her job is. Maybe if she was not so busy trying to get a reality TV show going about mass deportation, she'd be a better representative for the United States and the Homeland Security Department. Anyway, what do you think? I will throw this to you. What did you think when you watched this moment? If you did, you can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I love and appreciate it very much. Please, again, remember, please, if you watch my show at all with any regularity, please subscribe. It is free to do so. I would appreciate it very much. And over the next couple days, watch as much as you can. I know it seems like a weird ask, but it absolutely, we can train the algorithm that I'm worth it. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine and take care of one another. All right, now that we've talked about all of that, I want to talk about something that's genuinely improved my daily comfort. You know how I'm always saying we should follow the evidence? Well, I've been wearing Sheath apparel now for well over 2 years, and I have to say the evidence isn't just convincing, it's transformative. Let's face it, I hate buying underwear, and I'm sure you do too. Everybody hates buying underwear. With Sheath, you can stop dreading that purchase because you'll have quality, durable apparel that lasts. Once you experience the Sheath difference, you'll wonder how you ever wore anything else. What makes Sheath different? That's the question. They're the original creators of pouch underwear technology. Now, I'm not going to get overly detailed here. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but it's essentially providing proper anatomical support that traditional underwear simply doesn't offer. Plus, Sheath donates a portion of every single sale to men's mental health initiatives, something I think many of us can appreciate the importance of. And it makes a noticeable difference whether you're sitting at a desk analyzing political developments for hours or just going about your day. And Sheath isn't just for men. They've developed an impressive line for women too, using the same principles of thoughtful design and premium materials. What I particularly appreciate about Sheath is their commitment to quality. These aren't disposable basics. They're using high-performance fabrics that last, and their ethical manufacturing practices align with values that many of us in this community share. If you're ready to upgrade your underwear drawer with something that's actually engineered for comfort, head to sheath.com and use code Dollemore for 20% off your first order. My team and I have switched to Sheath, and honestly, it's one of those small changes that makes a surprising difference in your day.